Right everyone, it is Finn here and welcome to my Premier League Match Week 13 predictions, where today it is going to be extremely lonely. I think it's the first time in a long time we haven't had a guest on the channel. It feels quite weird, but regardless it will still be a fantastic time because Premier League Match Week 13 has some fantastic games to talk about. And of course, if you guys want to help me feel less lonely, I would appreciate it if you did subscribe down below. Thank you very much. But jumping into our first game of Premier League Match Week 13, we have Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool. Now as we know, 13 is considered to be an unlucky number, so will either of these two teams be unlucky in Premier League Match Week 13? Well, I do think things will be justified. I think Liverpool by far are the better team here, and they should win this one 2-0. As we know, they found some brilliant form as of late. Nottingham Forest, not so much. They haven't been playing well, they're not getting results, and there's just no way they're getting points from the almighty Liverpool. I'm glad for Liverpool though that Darwin Núñez has found some form. Maybe he will be the next Luis Suarez. I don't know, I guess we'll see whether he bites Dean Henderson in the next match week. That'll be the true test. Everton versus Crystal Palace next. Now once again, a very interesting game to talk about. Everton, once again, they kind of go up and down in terms of their form. They're kind of like the roller coaster of clubs. And looking at Crystal Palace, they always have the ability to impress defensively. They've got some very solid moments. Attacking wise, they've got some brilliant young players that can create absolutely anything. I think looking at these two teams, I do think Crystal Palace have been in slightly better form, getting more points as of late, and because of that, I do think Crystal Palace will take it. I think another reason I'm not giving this to Everton is because they only had one shot the entirety of that Newcastle game, which versus Newcastle United, I get it, they're the richest club in world football, but to only have one shot against them, it is absolutely criminal, and versus Palace, I can only see one winner. We then have Manchester City versus Brighton next. Now I, for one, think that this could be an absolutely fantastic game. Brighton have only lost 3 games all season. Yes, I know they drew versus Nottingham Forest in their previous game, but they absolutely dominated that game. They could have won it 3, maybe even 4-0. Having 17 shots and 9 shots on target that game versus Forest, they were brilliant. Unfortunately, they just didn't get the result, but versus Manchester City, I feel like they could struggle. I do like this Brighton team, but I do think City will take this one. As we know, City have only lost 1 game the entire season.
I'm still worthy.
And it was versus Liverpool, so you can't be too harsh on them. I do feel like that break, not playing midweek, will definitely benefit them. Maybe they charged or gave a software update to Erling Haaland. Maybe that's what he needed. After not scoring in 2 games, he just needed a tiny bit of a reboot. Now the next game is going to be the biggest one of Premier League Match Week 13. It is Chelsea versus Man United. Now as a Manchester United fan, we've won some brilliant points so far this season. Versus Arsenal, Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspurs, Manchester United have been good against the top 4. And next up versus Chelsea, we've got a good track record, so I've got a lot of confidence heading into a game like this. Saying that, looking at Chelsea, they've been brilliant under Graham Potter. My only concern is the fact that although yes, they are getting the results, they've had a lot of games where they haven't been playing that good and they could be caught off guard. I do think looking at them, I think a huge strong point for them is their defense. Having Kepa get 5 straight clean sheets in all competitions,
That's impossible!
it's absolutely huge for him, showing that maybe making Kepa Arrizabalaga the most expensive goalkeeper of all time, over time maybe it has worked out, which as a United fan once again, maybe it even gives me hope for Harry Maguire.
Don't give me hope.
No, not quite, but regardless of that, I think looking at a game like this, United have been brilliant against top 4, and because of that, I do think they could get the points versus Chelsea. Once again, maybe it's just my Man United biasness, but I do think we should get the points. Aston Villa versus Brentford next. Once again, it's a very easy decision for me. I have to give this one 2-0 to Brentford. Looking at Brentford, they are definitely a special team. They have been really good this season. Looking at Aston Villa, they've just sacked Steven Gerrard. It must have been a very awkward bus ride home after that game. Although saying that, I guess you never walk alone as Steven Gerrard.
Nice.
Once again, jokes aside, looking at this Aston Villa team, they are just not good enough. Looking at them versus Fulham, versus Fulham, they were outplayed. Fulham were far better than them, winning 3-0. Overall, as their gameplay, I have to say Aston Villa just weren't at the right level, and sacking Steven Gerrard probably was the right decision.
Yeah, of course.
Heading into our next game, it is another close one, as it is Leeds United versus Fulham. Although that's what I initially thought when the season began, that Leeds United versus Fulham would be close. But as the season has progressed a tiny bit, there is a clear difference between these two teams. Looking at Fulham, they're currently 9th place in the Premier League table, about a third of the way into the season. And looking at Leeds United, they haven't won a single game in their last 7. At this exact moment in time, there is a very strong favourite, and I do think Fulham will win this one. Whether it's 2-1 or 2-0, whatever the result may be, Fulham definitely are the better team here, and they should take the 3 points. Now next up, up, we've got Southampton versus Arsenal. Now, I do often see this as a fixture that in the past Arsenal probably would have shaken in their boots a tiny bit because a team like Southampton always had the potential to steal points from them. I mean, look at the history between these two teams in the last 4 meetings. It has been 2 Arsenal wins and 2 Southampton wins. But this season, as we know, Arsenal are a whole different team. Only 1 loss at the moment in the Premier League. They've been good across all competitions. Southampton have been a bit wobbly. They haven't been at the level where I expected them to be. And because of that, I can view a very, very dominant win here. And I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. Although, dare I say, it could be more. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Leicester City is next. The Wolves versus the Foxes. Now, looking at these two teams, I do think that on paper they are extremely close. And I think on the field, they'll be extremely close as well. Excuse the voice break there. That didn't happen. But I do think that this will end up being a 1-1 draw because look at both of these two teams. I think both of them are quite similar at the moment, both losing points where they definitely shouldn't. And both of them, in terms of the games that they've won so far this season, I wouldn't say I've been wowed by any of their results. They both need to turn things around, otherwise they are going to be calling for their mom. Thank you, call that the magic of editing. Tottenham Hotspurs versus Newcastle United is next, and ladies and gentlemen, once again, it has potential to be an extremely close game. Each of these teams have gotten both 12 points in their last 6 games, which just shows how close they are at the moment. Looking at Newcastle United, they've really picked up on form. It took them quite a while to get another win this season since opening day, but they really seem to have found some solid form. Looking at Tottenham Hotspurs, they've started to lose more points as of late, and in their 2-0 loss versus Manchester United, I'm not even sure Tottenham Hotspurs played. I thought Manchester United was the only team on the field. They were absolutely hidden despite the fact that they've had a brilliant start to this season. They just didn't have a good display out there. But versus a team like Newcastle United, although Newcastle United have been in good form lately, I do think Tottenham Hotspurs could take this one. I was going to write a 2-1 win, but I think they could get a 1-0 win. I'm going to give them a clean sheet because Hugo Lloris was probably the only player on the pitch versus United, and it will probably end up being a penalty win, let's be honest.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, son.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, takes us to our final game of Premier League Match Week 13. Once again, if you have enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. That's not English. I would really appreciate it. We're on the road to 7,500 subscribers. Would really love to see it, along with liking the video down below. Thank you so much. But jumping into our last game, West Ham versus Bournemouth. Although Bournemouth have been in really good form since sacking Scott Parker, they have finally picked up their first loss with Gary O'Neill, which once again, you have to give him credit. He's done a fantastic job with the club. But looking at West Ham United, they've just been so good as of late that I can't see them losing. I can see them get a 2-0 win. But looking at them, although yes, they lost to Liverpool in their previous game, they really had some solid moments in that game. Other than that, they obviously haven't lost the last 3 games before that. They've really proven themselves and they've really picked up their socks. And versus Bournemouth, I can see them getting all 3 points. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be it for my Premier League Match Week 13 predictions. I hope that you guys did end up enjoying it. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe down below. It really does help the channel out, along with putting your predictions down below. Once again, the person with the most accurate predictions I will show in next match week. I've totally forgotten over the last few videos to do that kind of stuff, but it will be back as of next week, so don't forget to put your predictions down below. I think it will be an entertaining match week. We've got some fantastic fixtures, but until next time, this has been Finn, FYNN. Cheers.